Good morning!
Good morning!
Come on, Becker!
Did you forget to take the quiz? Got the quiz. Mr. Boyd didn't. I know. I even posted an announcement on Blackboard. What's that? What's that?
So you never remind us on Blackboard.
Well, I know. I just decided that I didn't. Well, actually, I didn't know that I could do that, and I figured. So I reminded people. So, this morning, how to turn. What's that?
Thanks for ruining my day.
No, it's just one thing. It's one thing that you didn't do, so you go, I can clear that up. You don't let the past disturb the future. Stop it. Yeah, well, yeah, you can leverage it, but don't let it bring you down. That's the past. Good morning, Mr. Jones, Mr. Shannon.
Good morning.
Ms. Hendricks.
Good morning.
Today, the coup de grace. How to get someone to say yes, so more of these get in your wallet. How do you get those Benjamins from their pocket into your pocket? Now, we've been dancing around this for the entire semester. In this session, I'm going to put it all together. Team 2, thank goodness you're here, because we're going to talk about a major part of your presentation on what next?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Team 1 presents. Wait.
One presents on.
Team 1 presents Monday.
Right, and then Team 2 presents
Friday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Because
Oh, okay.
I changed the syllabus.
Is there an attack reason? You sent an email, right?
Now, from the beginning, from Daniel Pink forward, we've talked about this structure. The book makes this structure obtuse. It complicates it. I'm simplifying it for you. Anytime you want to persuade anyone to anything, you start with building trust. If you don't have sufficient trust, don't go forward. How do you build trust? Mr. Bell.
Ask questions. Get them to talk about themselves.
Ask questions. Is that all you need? Just ask questions.
That's the right question.
Facts.
Go.
I'm sorry.
No, I'd say when you first meet them, just present yourself in a professional manner. That up front alone will let them know that you're there for business.
Okay, you're professional. How do you get in emotionally, guys? If you're not going to make an emotional impact, they're not going to change. They're not going to buy.
Then I
How?
say the right questions.
Yes.
Show them that you want to help them. You explain why.
Okay.
Smile. Smile.
Smile. Smile, exactly. And how do you build camaraderie?
You have to like you find something that they have that you can relate on to like it.
That's it. You've got to look at the fish on the wall. You've got to look at the picture of the person with Arnold Palmer, or with Bon Jovi, or whatever, whoever it is. You can look at the picture and you're going to say, "Oh my God, you played golf with Arnold Palmer?" No, that's really a fake picture. I just put my picture in the middle of it and Arnie's. No. If someone's going to put that on the wall, it's important to them. And so you can even say, I'm not much of a golfer, but I know that guy. What was it like to play golf with Arnold Palmer? Why'd the person put that on the wall? Because they're proud of it. Oh, you should have been with me. It was on Pebble Beach. meet you, we were doing this, and I met him, and he's really, now what happens when he shares or she shares a story with you that's important to them? Mr. Baston? Attentive? It's even more important. It builds camaraderie. It begins to build a sense that I think you're a good person. You get them talking about what they're interested in. Curiously enough, they like you. Why does that work, Ms. White? I don't know. I mean, psychologically, we could go into the depths of why that works, but let me tell you, until you build a common bond and you build camaraderie, don't go forward. Why, Ms. Martinez?
Because then it would be pointless.
What?
It would be pointless.
Why?
You wouldn't really connect with them.
Okay.
That would lead to not getting the sale.
Yeah, okay. Continue. We talked about this before.
And you're just kind of fighting an uphill battle at that point where instead of starting with an advantage, starting with a disadvantage, where they now don't trust you, or at least at their best they just neutral you, and that will lead them to be more skeptical and lead them to not want to hear what you have to say.
Yes, yes, yes. But what's the next step? Jones?
I was going to say because 40% of this whole process is building trust, and that's like, so you got to start there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have sufficient trust and you begin probing and asking questions, what happens, Mr. Dom?
If you don't have any personal relation with them, then they're skeptical and they won't want to go forward with the deal because they don't feel like they know you.
It's not just going through with the deal.
You're trying to find out if they have the need and they don't trust you, then they won't open up to let you know that they have the need.
Bingo. Got it, Mr. Tingle. Got it. You see, if you don't build enough trust, then when you begin probing and asking questions, they'll lie. They'll say, well, I don't have that problem. That's not a problem. But if they trust you, and if by your questioning, they get a sense that you could help them solve a problem, they'll open up. And it's in the opening up to reveal what their needs are. This is the secret. This is the secret. If you don't go through this door, you don't make the sale. You don't persuade your mom. You don't persuade your roommate to clean the dirty dishes. So don't move into the next step, identifying needs, until and unless you've built sufficient trust. Now on B2C, business to consumer, this takes a while. Because this sale is made usually over the kitchen table, and it's the one, chances are, you're going to be making in the soundproof room. You're going to have to spend a little time getting to know the person, building some common bond. Then, now, once you build sufficient trust, you begin asking questions. And Chapter 9 describes the spin process. Let's talk about spin and how it works. Team 2, all of you are going to be making presentations in that soundproof room. And Team 2, especially when you articulate how to ask questions using the spin process for your Culligan presentation. Listen carefully. Here's what you're going to be selling. A little unit that sits on a kitchen sink. Actually, it's just a spigot. I have one at my house. A little spigot. There's the faucet right here. You have one or two or single faucet. And right here's a new faucet. And when you turn on this new faucet, out comes crystal clear pure drinking water, and it's filtered by a group of filters underneath the sink. Typically in a home, this is how it works. There are 3 filters. And when you read about the Culligan products, the bottle-free coolers, you're going to understand there's a carbon filter. There's a process called reverse osmosis that forces water through membranes, and as it forces it through, it leaves the particles in the filter and forces the water out. It's a very slow process. So as the reverse osmosis process is working under the sink, it puts water into a reservoir. That reservoir is stored under the sink, behind wherever it can put it. It's about a gallon, maybe a 2-gallon reservoir, maybe it's 5 gallons. It fills that reservoir up slowly but surely all day long. So when you go to the faucet, you want to make your coffee, pure, clean water. When it comes out, there are no bubbles, there's no fizz, it's just pure, clean water.
That's what we're going to be selling on Wednesday.
That's what you're going to be selling in the soundproof room.
The final presentation?
Yes,
Okay.
and this is what Team 2 is going to research. You're going to do a spin sequence
For Wednesday?
for Wednesday and a subject need idea benefit sequence. So this is the product.
Are we going to be selling the home product or the business product?
You don't know. You walk in. You don't know what this, you just know that you have an appointment with someone who's interested in Culligan. The person in there could be the president of a company, could be a housewife, could be a sales manager, could have authority, might not have authority, you don't know anything, so you have to walk in and you have 15 minutes to close the sale. From ground zero. In a business setting, these Culligan bottle-free coolers, all the equipment is located in a container, all the filtration stuff. And typically it'll sit beside or in the break room. And it'll have both hot and cold water. Crystal clear, it'll all go through the reverse osmosis process. So when people want crystal clear water, they don't have to bring in water from home. They don't have to go to the tap. They don't have to bring in bottles. All they have to do is go in the break room, an unlimited supply of crystal clear, great tasting water. Those are the 2 products you're going to be equipped to sell. Any questions on that? All right. Let's make the assumption we've built sufficient trust. Now we're going to begin asking our spin questions. Situation questions. Miss Rose, we're thinking about Culligan. We're thinking about why someone would want to buy, would not want water from the tap, and would want to spend money to have crystal clear water in their kitchen or in their business. Number 1, what are situation questions? First of all, define situation questions. I need more volume because everyone
Sorry.
can't hear you.
It's like a question that puts the person in a place where they see a problem and they want to.
You're down here. Your problem questions. Situation questions. Here's how to think about this. This is about making your prospect walk on glass. Ouch. 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 All high eyes hate this. But this is how you get them to say yes. This is the graph of pain that is felt by the buyer, by the prospect. When you start and you ask situation questions, they are pain-free questions. As a matter of fact, this is plus pain, this is minus pain. The graph actually goes down at the beginning. So situation questions kind of make them feel good, not bad. They simply describe, you want to understand the situation the person is in. And then you want that question to transition to a problem question. Make these, so imagine you are in the soundproof room, you've built camaraderie, you've built sufficient trust. Now you want to ask a situation question of a homeowner. What would that be? Ms. Hendricks. What question would you ask?
I mean, is it just tap or is it?
You don't know. You don't know.
How often do you use water throughout your house, like laundry? How often do you
This
do
is
laundry
drinking
in your
water.
house? Okay, so
This
it
is
just
to improve the
filter
taste of
it
drinking
out.
water.
How often do you drink water in your house?
How often do you drink water?
How many kids do you have?
So are we going to talk about contraception? Wait. No, I'm being a little humorous, but you want to ask a situation question that relates to it segues right to the problem.
And his question, you can maybe ask that later on, whenever you get to talk about the benefits and about.
So what question would you ask up front?
How do you know how clean your tap water is?
How clean? My tap water not clean?
Could you also ask them, do you buy water? Do you buy bottled water?
You could. Now in the funnel, I'm going to start at the top. That's a question that's down here.
Is that a problem?
That's not a problem, but it's just lower. What's the first question you want to ask? Ms. Rose?
I was gonna say, like, if it was, you know, let's say a mom, it would just be like, how often do you have to go, or do you enjoy cooking or something?
Is that related to the taste of water?
Or like, if you use water in cooking.
Yeah. Listen, this is not easy. That's why I'm teaching you. You don't regularly ask questions like this of other people, so you're not used to this. But you're learning. What question would you ask, Ms. Sis?
A question that really pulls if there's a need for your
Yeah, but we got to get there first. So no pain, actually a little bit of pleasure.
You just say, do you enjoy drinking your tap water?
That could be. Or you could say, what do you do when you get thirsty? See, it's a question that's right up here. What do you do when you get thirsty? Why? Because there are multiple ways people can be hydrated. This is in Warren County or Bowling Green, you know the tap water doesn't taste good. How many people drink out of the tap? Because you have to. Right, yeah. I'd rather have, because it's, I didn't even know this. And I've lived here for 30 years. Until, and I said I drank out of the tap, but in fact, I didn't drink it. I drank Cokes, Diet Cokes, all the time. By the 2-liter. My wife said, why do you drink so many Cokes? I said, because I like them. It never occurred to me that the tap water didn't taste good. Until we started talking about Culligan. And I got a bottle-free cooler on my, so I tried it, and I thought, oh yeah, it tastes good. Drink the tap water? Ugh. Ugh. Only when I brush my teeth, I have to, otherwise it's in the sink. We use Culligan water for everything, because it just tastes better. So people don't know that. You see, so that's why at the beginning you have to ask general questions to get a talk. Ms. Martinez.
Later within the presentation, do you want to like have a sample so that they can?
You might. Yep. But in fact, a sample is any form of filtered water that they drink is equivalent to the water you can manufacture under your sink. Equivalent in quality, equivalent in taste. It's bottled water. So the first question we ask is, what do you do when you get thirsty? So what would the person say? Miss Wong. What would they say? I drink bottled water. Now, we're moving down the funnel, right? So now the issue is, I drink bottled water. What might you ask?
Why drink bottled water on the tap?
Why? Just ask why. You're going to talk very little and get them to talk a lot. You say, why bottled water?
You could ask them, how much do you spend on bottled water?
We're getting there. We're getting there. That's getting close to a problem question. Yeah, I want to get there. Why bottled water? So what might they say? Ms. Gartes. Because the tap tastes gross. Have I got a problem? I got two issues, right? Now, here's what you're thinking about when you're a salesman. I've got this revolver right here. I got this revolver, and I want to load it with silver bullets. And, I'm sorry?
Seriously thought you were just going to blow it up.
Oh no. Yeah, it's fireman. All right. So I want to take that revolver and I want to load it. Okay, bullet number one, they drink bottled water. Aha, got it. Do I go into depth about bottled water? No, I just load my revolver. Number two, tap water tastes horrible. Click. I'm not going to tell them how great my product is. That's what the slime buckets do. I'm going to stay right here and I'm going to investigate like a detective. So I'm going to say, your tap water tastes gross? Now what did I just do? I just repeated what they said with a question. Your tap water tastes gross? So you don't drink it at all? So when you get thirsty, you always have a bottle of water every place in the house when you're thirsty? Do you? So you walk to the refrigerator and get it, okay. When you brush your teeth? You have to use the tap water. So sometimes you have to take that nasty tap water and filter it with your kidneys. Now, the next question. Problem questions. Now here's what's going to happen. Ms. Gartes just showed us. You did too. When I said filter it with your kidneys, whoop! Now I turn the graph. What do you mean? Filter it with my kidneys? And actually, I wouldn't ask that question right away. That's coming. That's another kind of a question. We're just going to get them to kind of acknowledge that there's a problem here. So if it's bottled water, I might ask, so how many bottles of water do you consume, say, in a day? 3.
Wait, with the kidneys thing, I feel like that would take, wasn't that a joke? So that would take away pain? Like, I understand the purpose, but like, it made most of us laugh, and did that not take away pain?
Yeah, I know, it's nervous, it's gallows humor. Okay, because you know it's that all the impurities in the water are being filtered out by your filter called the kidneys, instead of our filter, Culligan. I heard one Culligan salesperson say, he said this in this presentation. The person said, well, I don't need filtered water. I don't need a filtration system for my home. And the fellow said, yeah, I know, you already have one. Your children's kidneys. Oh, that's a big one. Like, what do you mean? Now, it's not right at the beginning. You gotta be careful, because this pain cycle thing can blow up, right? Now, here is perception number 17. This whole process. What's the style of the buyer? Personality style. What if you're dealing with a D? How high can you push the pain cycle? It'll be a WTF, right? What are you talking about? And then, I don't want to talk, you're talking about my kid's kidneys, get out of here. You can make them too mad. It can ruin it. It does. And who are you to make me feel guilty? My kids are just fine. You look at these pictures, they're fine. When's the last time you took a picture of their kidneys now? Okay. So now you're going to ask problem questions. Problem questions are, how many bottles of water a day? 3 bottles a day. So you say, 3 a day. Where do you buy your bottled water? Walmart. And how often do you have to get in your car, drive all the way to Walmart, and do you buy them individually or buy them in a cart? In the big things? How many? 24 or 36, as many as I can carry. Now, I got a problem, right? She's remembering. Guys, here's what happens. We get into habits that help us deal with our problems, but not solve them. Do you like lugging all that water? Look at her face. No, I hate that. Up goes the pain cycle, right? Boom, into the stratosphere. This is called implication problems. Essentially, what is the implication if you don't do anything differently? You have to, did I push on your shoulder? Good. This hurts. You gotta make it hurt more. Ouch! So we say, so you buy them 24s, 36s, 48. It's this huge thing. So what you do is then you push it out in the cart and you get it out to your car. What do? You have to lift it up. Put it in your trunk, right? Then what happens when you get home? I got to carry that GD thing into my apartment. You have stairs or the elevator? Stairs! I hate that! There you are. No pain, no gain. You gotta make it walk on glass. Ouch. 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 Then, the final question is need payoff. Ms. Gartes, if I could show you a way that you'd never have to go to the supermarket, to Walmart, to buy water again. You'd never have to suffer going through the parking lot and lifting that water in and bringing it into your apartment. If I could do that for you, would you have an interest? Of course I would. Would you take, I'm not going to ask this question here, essentially I want to say, would you take money out of your purse and pay right now so you'd never have to do that again? And the answer is yes, because I never knew I could have that until you came in.
But doesn't it depend on the price to an extent? Because like in that situation, it's one of those things like that's part of life, you kind of have to do it. It would have to be beneficial enough to the point that I'd be willing to pay the price for it. Because otherwise I would just get over it and do it.
Gary Dollar. That's exactly the conundrum. You've got to raise the value to counter the price. Mr. Baskin.
Let's say if you physically sit there and show them how much money you can save here, maybe.
Now wait. She didn't, now she's going to care about price when I tell her the price. Maybe. I haven't even talked about the price. Have I even talked about Culligan? Guys, no need, no presentation. Do not come out of the questioning sequence into the presentation until you get agreement to the need. Once you get agreement to the need, then the fun starts. Because then you can be a Wolverine. Because I know you're sick and tired of carrying that water. And every time I come to an objection, I'm going to say, Ms. Cartes, I'm confused. How much do those 36 or 48 cases of water weigh? I don't know, but it's too much. So I'm confused that you don't want to buy, but yet you want to keep lugging that water? You may even have to get married to a guy you don't even like to get him to carry the water up. Imagine if you had to do... I'm kidding. So I'm going to stay on that need, and I'm going to keep pressing that pain over and over and over. If I've come out of the funnel and I know that she has the need. Questions at this point?
Will we be in a situation where we're trying to sell to a person that literally has no problem? Like, for me personally, I enjoy hot water, and I would never buy it. So it would be like hard for me to sit there and I just don't know if we'll be in a situation where like the person's like, do you like tap water? I do like.
What happens if you cannot identify a need? Not quite, but you stop your presentation. You smile. And you say, Ms. Cartes, from my perspective, there's nothing that I can do to help you. I really appreciate you spending a few minutes letting me understand your concern about your bottled water. Take me through the emotion here. All the pressure goes away, right? She thinks, oh, cool. You're not one of those slime bags that's going to try to push something on me. So I let that go down, and then I say, can I ask you one more question? Sure. Can you think about any of your friends or your relatives who might really not like picking up that bottled water? Who I might be able to talk to so they don't have to go through all of the horrible lifting and maybe hurting their back. So when I ask for a referral that way, psychologically, guys, they've said no, you've accepted it, you're a pro. What are the chances they're going to give you a referral? They go way up. Because they know, because you're a needs-based salesperson, that you're going to treat her brother, sister, father just as well as you've treated her. And that's how you do it. Now you don't cave in quickly, but whenever you identify that there's no need, punt.
So at this point, assuming you couldn't identify a need, does this person know what you're trying to sell them? Because we haven't talked about what was it all.
Well, I'm talking about bottled water, right?
Right.
Now, you can, at the beginning, you can say, as you introduce yourself, good morning. My name is Chris Derry, and I represent the Culligan Company. We help make our clients' water better. That's all you have to say. I got the idea. Okay, I get it.
We gotta practice objections.
Yes, that is the next chapter. Now, we've only taken this down one path thus far. We've only taken it by bottled water and lifting. But are there other problems people have? So let's go through this with Mr. McCauley. So, Mr. McCauley is now a homeowner, and I would say, what do you do when you get thirsty?
So if I said, I go to the fridge and I get a dark pepper?
Great. Now, no problem here. how can I can now begin asking questions in a couple different ways. One, I can do cost. I can say, Dr. Pepper, great, I bet you love those commercials. That guy in selling Dr. Pepper, you know, you see that in the games? You don't. I blew that one. Well, when you watch college football, there's that idiot that's selling Dr. Pepper in the stands. Okay. And I might say, Dr. Pepper, why do you drink Dr. Pepper? Because it tastes great. So how many Dr. Peppers do you just say you drink in a day?
This is out there, so I'm just
No, be you.
well, I presented that because that would be a real obstacle.
Could be. But I want you to be you.
Well, I would have been like, yeah, I get water all the time.
Okay. What's your source of water?
The filter in my fridge.
The filter in your fridge. Filter in the fridge. What's this about? Almost all refrigerators now have filters in them. You have to know product knowledge. How often do you change the filter in your refrigerator?
Hardly any.
Really? Now I got to have product knowledge. Are you aware that in a very short time, the filter clogs up and allows the tap water to flow freely into your glass? It does? Yeah, because the filter is there to filter out the bad stuff. What it does is it's a carbon filter. It filters out chlorine and some impurities, but not the metallic things that are flowing through your water system. Metallic things? What do you mean? Now you gotta have product knowledge. You have to go to your water company, to go online and look at the Warren County Water or BGMU. They publish a report that explains what's in the water. And when you go there, what you're going to find is there is a report that was issued a year ago that the EPA informed the water company that the level of cancer causing was above the federal limit. Now, is that an issue? I don't know until I ask. How concerned are you? So even before I disclosed all that, I would say, how concerned are you about having good tasting, safe water? First I'll say safe drinking water. What do you mean? It means completely free of impurities like bacteria, viruses, trace metals. Now look, that's important. It's not important. Drop it. You gotta watch. Now if I ask you that question, Mr. Appel, how concerned are you about viruses, bacteria, and trace metals?
Very concerned.
Really? Say, are you telling me that my water has that in it? I sure am. Here's the report. Boom. Public water systems they cannot filter for bacteria, viruses. They can't get all the trace metals. Some flow through. So what happens in your body? Your kidney filters them. Your body does it. Because what your body does is it filters out of the kidneys and then comes pure water. The pure water goes into your bloodstream. Your bloodstream does not like trace elements. You got to make sure you ask to determine whether this is an issue. Then if it is, then you can dig in. This is an important issue for you to tackle if someone says, I drink water out of the tap and it tastes just fine. Now Ms. Rose is saying, is it true what you just said? The answer is yes. The public system will only makes it potable water. And they don't give a darn whether it tastes good. They don't have to filter for taste. Sometimes when the water supply gets low or they've had a drought, you have to put massive levels of chlorine in the water. You have to, because the bacteria builds up. Now, they try their best.
So let's say, like for me, like the biggest issue that a salesperson should tackle for me would be taste.
Taste.
I care more about taste. If
Okay, let's do it.
okay,
Okay. What do you do when you get thirsty?
I get water from the tap.
The tap. You do? So you don't, compared to, do you ever drink bottled water?
Yeah.
Is there any difference in taste between bottled water and tap water to you?
Yeah, there's a bit.
There's a bit. Can I push on this? I'm not getting much of a response, am I? So it's not really a big issue.
Well, see, like, what if I think that the tap water, I don't really, but if I thought the tap water tasted fine, like if I had no problem with the taste of it, but taste was also my most important thing for me, am I a lost cause, or is that something that I
No, now I've got to supply some evidence. If this is a real presentation, I would go to your tap, I would take one of your glasses, I would draw a glass of water from the tap, and I would say, can I have some of your bottled water? And I would compare them. Look at them, this one's fizzing and bubbling, and this one's just clear. Shake them up, you go, good. Oh, it's my tap water. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt are your biggest friends. So what's in the water? I don't know what's in the water. Let's find out. You won't be able to do this. Just a second. You won't be able to do this. But all Culligan salespeople have water tests. They test the water on the spot. They can tell you how much chlorine, how much trace minerals. And so they place that evidence right on with the report. The customer says, oh my God. Then they test their bottled water. There's nothing there. Powerful. Now the issue is, what do they care about? If they don't care about that stuff, you may not have a case. If you can't find a need, don't make a presentation. Stop. What other needs will they have? Let's talk about cost. So if I said to Ms. Gartes, so 3 bottles a week, 3 times 7, so you drink 3 bottles every day, including Sunday and Saturday, and maybe when you work out, maybe a little bit more. That's 21 bottles a week. That's like a 24-pack, probably a week. How much does a 24-pack cost? $3.50. So $3.50 a week. That's $7 every 2 weeks. That's $14 a month. Bottle-free cooler costs $29 a month. And it delivers an unlimited quantity of bottle tasting water. Okay? The same water that's in the bottle flows out of your spigot. So now we've got $14 versus $29. Do I have a cost argument here? Not much, do I? So I'll take that and I'll leave that in my pocket, and I'm going to focus on the physical nature of this, of her not wanting to carry it. And then when I now make my presentation, just like this is, take this down.
Okay, I was going to say, in this situation, could you more tack on, like say a doctor's office, if you want to allow there to be a water dispenser there, instead of having bottled water in a cooler or a fridge, tack more on the benefit of how it's going to affect their customers versus how it's going to affect you.
Exactly. It's their need. It's whatever need they have.
I would be most worried about situations like Mr. Culligan was talking about with the refrigerator. If someone were to talk to me about that, it would get me thinking, okay, so I just need to start replacing my filter more often.
You know, instead of saying I need to buy this, well, I put money into a nice fridge, so I'll just, okay, thanks for letting me know that. I'll start changing my filter.
Of course. How much does a filter cost?
But how often are you gonna have to change the filter?
Hold on, and we're gonna go through this argument.
About $60 for my fridge.
$60 for a filter. So that now that enters into the equation. Now you want to make sure, so you're loading these bullets in your gun, and then when you get into your presentation, you're going to use them. You don't just dive in. You're building these arguments. So once you have enough arguments, enough evidence that when you fire, you can go bang, bang, bang. I'm going to say dead. Then I have the order. So if I think I've got enough evidence, I identify the needs, then how do I make my presentation?
But isn't there a filter in this thing as well? So you have to replace it.
Hold on. Hold on, we're going to go there. All I'm doing is collecting problems, and I'm thinking to myself, how can my product or service fulfill that need? Yep. They changed the filter. Now, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Then realizing that they filter their water and everything, it doesn't, like you said, it only gets the corn and all the metallic fires and still pass through. So that's, if they already use the filtered water because they want it filtered, you can show the advantages of getting everything out.
We're going to get there. Don't be in a hurry.
That's how you could battle that one.
Of course, of course. In the process here, we're going to make our presentation, and I want to show you why the book in chapters 9 and 10 goes into great lengths about something that's frankly academic. It's very easy to make a presentation if you do it right.
So we've been addressing drinking water, like people would choose to drink it, but what if you're choosing a soda? So it's,
Soda. So Dr. Pepper. I got a couple arguments. There's sugar in Dr. Pepper. We're not sure what causes diabetes, but we know that diabetics eventually stop processing, stop releasing human-generated insulin into the system to counteract the sugar. And at some point, it stops. We don't know why. One of the things lots of people do is they reduce the sugar intake so that the body doesn't have to process all of that sugar and release all that insulin. We don't know how long, but what organ delivers insulin? Gallbladder?
Pancreas.
Pancreas. We don't know how good that pancreas is, but that's an argument I might be able to use. Number 2, cost. How much Dr. Pepper do you drink in a day? Oh, not very much, just a couple 2 liters. I should drink two liters of Diet Coke every day. Yeah, just it tasted good. The water tasted horrible, and I didn't realize it. I stopped all that, don't worry.
Is it out of our realm to ask if your family has history of diabetes?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is that something you would want to ask?
Sure.
Okay, I didn't know if that would be like,
Well,
get that problem way up or out of the root.
Well, now see, there's not a cause and effect relationship about, see, you can't really say, but there is a relationship between the ingestion of sugar and, I'm not even sure about this, and they aren't either. We don't know what causes diabetes yet.
Do you think it'd be more feasible if you say, do you like to drink soda? And they say, well, I'm actually diabetic, I cut back on soda. And then I think that'd be appropriate if you
Oh,
asked.
of course.
Yeah.
But you see, did you know that when you came in?
No.
You didn't know it till you probed.
Yeah.
When it comes to stepping on glass, making people step on glass, it's really up to you, isn't it, of how far you're willing to push through and how comfortable you feel with
If it's a D, you can't push them very much. If it's an S, you'll push them and they won't like it. S's don't like conflict. The I's will laugh it off. Ha 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 ha, yeah. I mean, I don't like that. But you got to push. You got to go there because they won't do it. Right? They won't do it unless you can relieve the pain. So you got to introduce the pain and make them say, ouch. Then pull it away with the need payoff. C's want to know all the details, all the specifications. Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. High I's will look in your eyes and say, I trust you. D's look at results. S's want to make sure they're slow to change. They can't get the order right away. Hold on a second. 5 minutes to go. Now, so for the spin process, I want Team 2 to work through all of the problems that people could have with switching from tap water to a bottle-free cooler or a spigot. Address those, and I want you to walk through the questions that you should ask all the way through the process. I would love it if say 2 or 3 of you took different issues and went through a spin sequence on cost, taste, convenience. Help your classmates understand how to walk through these questions and go right down through the funnel. Now, let's talk about presentation for a minute. Once you identify the needs, the presentation is easy. Here's what you do. Lifting those bottles is a problem. Okay? With Culligan, we're going to bring in our cooler, we're going to install it under your sink, and we're going to put a spigot at the top. And once it's installed, all you'll need is your right forefinger and your thumb. All you do is flip it and the water comes right out. No more having to bring water in and use your muscles. Trial close. How does that sound, Mr. Arquez? Sounds pretty good. I got one. I got it now. Do I have enough to close it? Cost. In addition, you told me that you drink about 3 bottles a day, which is about a case a week. That is about $3.50 a piece, say $14 a month. You're not going to have to pay that $14 a month to Walmart ever again. Instead, now if I get 2 arguments. Do I have enough arguments? Talked about taste, we're going to do that. I think I could probably ask for the order. I'm trying to think, is that strong enough? Is my evidence strong enough so when I ask, she's going to say yes? So I can talk to her about the cost and the convenience. What is something else she should be concerned about?
Health.
It's bottled water. Okay? It's equivalent to the bottled water she's drinking.
There's no regulation for bottled water.
Oh yeah, it's regulated by the bottlers and the I forget. EPA regulates the water system and the FDA. I mean, anyway, there's 2. They're cross-regulatory bodies that regulate the bottlers and regulate the city's water system. So the only parts of the Culligan system that I'm going to explain to her relate to fulfilling the need that she has.
What's something to be like, how often is it delivered?
How often are we going to be there to filter it? That's an issue. Am I going to bring that up right away? No. Because I'm going to then, once I've gone through my points, I'm going to look over and I say, is there any reason we shouldn't get started today? And she's going to say something. If she says no, is that bad? No. It just means there's some things that we need to go through. High I's, don't worry. It's not, she doesn't like me. Oh no, I didn't get another order. No, it's not about that. I just haven't answered all her questions. So I've made a cogent argument to her and she says no. I smile and I say, you must have some very good reasons for not wanting to buy. May I ask what they are? Tell me. I've got all the answers to all these questions. I got them in my brain. I'm ready. hurt me. And once you close all of those doors, you counter all those objections, and you say, so if you'll just sign right here, we'll install it next Thursday. The close is easy if you march through the process. Any questions? This is how professional salespeople delight customers, fulfill their needs, and fill their pockets with Benjamins. All right, guys?
Do they have a product for breakfast?
Yes. They also have a bottle cooler. Oh, we didn't talk about that. We talked about that later. Yeah, bottles of water. We can deliver bottles still too. Or you can purchase the cooler for about $1,000.
I don't have no idea what's going on.
You told me earlier.
Yes.
Nobody's like, I'm here.
You're good. We'll make sure you get emails.
Now, but I want you guys to spend some time on spin. I hope you might even do a role play or something. Okay.
Well, I don't know, we want, I apologize.
Well, you can do a role play. A role play is,
Would that count as 2 hour presentation?
yep, launch both sides and make a presentation.
What's it called?
You do a role play. You can't just be a rollover, like, oh yeah, I'd love it, yeah, here's the money. No, then the grade goes down. I mean, you have to have, you're gonna have objections, and you're gonna.
With the role playing, we go through the entire spin process, or do certain members do certain?
I think
I'd
that,
say it'd be better if 2 people focus on the spin.
you need 2 people in a role play?
Yeah, like the 2 people do the spin, just the spin concept, because if you do it between too many people, there's gonna be too much loss of
Okay, just 2 people.
communication between.
Okay, so do you 2 want to do the spin then?
Yeah,
And then we'll
that's
go
fine.
through the chapters and email like we did last time instead of just do
Yeah,
that section.
is someone else on the point? I'm going to be in Boston.
It's okay. But this is hard, guys. I just went through it. This is hard. You haven't done this before.
Mr. Derry, do you want us to create a SNP WKU for all of us individually, or
That's team 2.
Okay.
They're gonna do that. You guys are just gonna do chapters
Just
9
like
and
always.
10,
Okay.
and a
So
focus
you
on
guys do the
spin.
spin and then we'll take the session. You
There's
can do the
specifics in the
presentations.
chapters you want us to highlight.
Can anybody do
Well,
that today? 'Cause I'm gonna be out of town.
I have to work.
These chapters are a little light.
Next.
I've never worked with
Yeah, there's a little more stuff
I
there.
didn't either. It's
But
really
they took
just
spin,
dragging
they
it
should have put spin in probably
Don't-
chapter
don't make it
6,
hard.
because I've already talked to you about the presentation, now I have to talk about spin, which is, in,
Yeah,
it's
and
just
just
reversed.
the number of the pictures.
Should
It's
talk about
really
it.
hard, especially with the pull off.
Yeah.
Let's just get the order on email and also.
That'd be awesome.
Can you send out a group message?
Just, all you have to do is go to Blackboard, reply to all,
I was about to say, what is
there's, you can click something and it'll send a,
Yeah, so what'd you say?
So imagine you're in the audience. Well, how can you make this presentation so that your fellow classmates really understand it better?
he just wants you to send an email so we all just feel like,
Like I did it today,
this is the first thing
or in a
we'll
role
send.
play,
Whenever you get
or in an interrogatory,
Because if
or
you do that,
force them to give you
you can
answers.
reply to all,
Now, I can do that
send
sometimes.
all messages, go to everyone,
If you
send
want to
it.
try, that's fine. Usually when they see things,
Oh, yeah. So I mean, so that's the part that I put that, okay.
Nobody's gonna know this shit if they don't.
somebody needs to explain the process.
Okay, so step 1 up front, explain the process.
Here's how it's used, and then you're gonna have, if you got 2 students, you've got 6 minutes to do a role play. 6 minutes is a long time to do a role play. And you can really get into it. So you can actually walk through a Culligan spin cycle and a SNP.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah. Take a quiz.
We both got 9 out of 10.
Hey, cool.
Not that.
Good. Very good.
Hey, we have we're leaving today for our last time in the fall, and we'll be gone today until late Tuesday. I'm just putting together that I'm not keeping on.
And you've got to get somebody from another team to swap it. Today. How are you gonna do it? Yeah, you gotta persuade somebody. And then you'll be back next Friday, because next Wednesday, team 2 presents, yeah, team 2 presents the Culligan, snib, and spin, and you're not, so you can't switch with 2, because you're not gonna be here. So, well, I mean, you're not gonna be here to practice
Somebody from team
from 3 or 4.
Team 3 is gonna be the following Wednesday.
Yes.
I think it would be
I think so.
the